that's something that a lot of our clients have really thanked us for and appreciated, is that, we're going to tell the truth. We're going to be bluntly honest, and we want our clients to have good outcomes, because a lot of our new clients come from referrals, and we want to keep our referrals coming in, and we wouldn't get that if we didn't give a good service, and we've got the Google reviews to back it up. A lot of people are surprised when I say this, but I would guess probably at least 4 out of 10 people, we're going to tell them don't file. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Chapter 13 and Chapter 7 are great tools, but they're not for everyone. They're not for every single case. And so that's something that really differentiates us from a lot of other law firms. We're not going to throw them into a case and then have everything just hit the fan after we file.
Welcome to the Bankruptcy Podcast, a podcast about untangling the complex world of bankruptcy in Georgia. Each week, we deliver the best insights and practical advice on how to navigate the legal waters of bankruptcy with expert guidance and real-life stories. Now here's your host, Jeff Kelly.
Hello and welcome to this episode, the very first episode of the Kelly Bankruptcy Podcast. My name is Richard Matthews. I'm doing just a brief co-host here for Jeff Kelly. Jeff, I want to go over a couple of things with you real quick. Why don't you start off with who you are and who your clients are for Kelly Bankruptcy?
Okay, my name is Jeff Kelly, and we specialize in doing Chapter 13 and Chapter 7 for consumers. Most of my clients are just your everyday kind of person. Some people work in factories, some people work in offices. We've got all types. We do some cases that are small amounts of debt, less than $10,000, and some that are a whole lot more. We've got 4 office locations, but most of our meetings right now we're doing virtually, so I can get somebody's case completed start to finish without them ever leaving their house.
That's amazing. So you do virtual bankruptcy stuff. Do you work all over the country, or you work just in a specific area? Where's most of your bankruptcy work done?
So our focus is in the Northern District of Georgia, so pretty much we cover the northern half of the state.
Awesome. And so my next sort of question for you is, what's your process look like for clients if you're bringing people in to help them?
So typically, our process works this way. We're going to gather information. We want to look at credit reports. We want to look at paycheck stubs. We want to go over their income. We want to go over their budget. A lot of people are surprised when I say this, but I would guess probably at least 4 out of 10 people, we're going to tell them don't file. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Chapter 13 and Chapter 7 are great tools, but they're not for everyone. They're not for every single case. And so that's something that really differentiates us from a lot of other law firms. We're not going to throw them into a case and then have everything just hit the fan after we file. We're going to spend a lot of time. So, when we get to the point where we're going over the court petition, we're going to spend about 2 hours, and we go through that petition line by line. And if at any point somebody decides they don't want to file, we're going to, in almost every single case, we're going to refund all of the money except for $20 for the class that they were required to take. That doesn't go to us. That goes to a company. Everyone who files a Chapter 13 and Chapter 7, they have to take a credit counseling course before they file.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so you guys are actually looking to help people get the best outcome, even if that means not working with and not hiring you, not going through Chapter 7 or Chapter 13.
Absolutely.
So my next question for you is, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, one of my hardcore principles of our law firm is blunt honesty. And that's something that a lot of our clients have really thanked us for and appreciated, is that, we're going to tell the truth. We're going to be bluntly honest. And we want our clients to have good outcomes, because a lot of our new clients come from referrals, and we want to keep our referrals coming in, and we wouldn't get that if we didn't give a good service. And we've got the Google reviews to back it up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. If you're intrigued by the world of bankruptcy and want a comprehensive guide to help you get out of debt, head on over to kellycanhelp.com/welcome and subscribe to our email list to have a guide to bankruptcy in Georgia, helping people get out of debt delivered right to your inbox. Now back to the show.
So my next question for you is, what is the purpose here of the Kelly Bankruptcy podcast? Why are you creating it, and what's your goal for this podcast?
Well, our goal for the podcast is to educate people about how the consumer bankruptcy process works. So we try to cover a lot of different issues and basically just general education. We hope that it'll also help get the word out of what we do and how we do it and how we are different, so that future people who need to file will choose us.
Yeah, absolutely. And so your goal really is to create a community resource around, for those of us who, people who are not doing what you do, don't deal with bankruptcy every day, right? So it can be a scary or an unknown topic, and having a resource that you can go through for free and sort of listen to and understand what the process is going to look like, you're going to, basically create that resource for your community.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So only two more questions for you here. Is how often do you expect to release new content on the podcast? And then last one is, where can people go to find all of the episodes for the Kelly Bankruptcy podcast?
So our plan is we're going to do one episode per week, and the website for the podcast is kellybankruptcy.com. My main website, where we have a lot of blog posts and I have a lot of articles, a free book on Chapter 13 and Chapter 7 that people can download. That website is kellycanhelp.com.
Awesome. So Kelly Bankruptcy to see all the new episodes, and then just so your guests are aware, this will be also anywhere you can find podcasts. So Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and of course YouTube and their new podcast platform as well. All of the episodes will be there. But the best place to find it will be kellybankruptcy.com. And if you haven't checked out his book, it's at kellycanhelp.com/welcome. We'll make sure the links for all of those are in the thing below. I'm in the show notes below this episode. And Jeff, thank you so much for putting this resource together for your community. And you'll want to check back on our very first episode. That's when all the good content is going to start coming out. I know this is just an introduction. Again, Jeff, thank you so much for hopping on and doing this brief intro to the Kelly Bankruptcy podcast.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Bankruptcy Podcast. Make sure to visit our website, kellybankruptcy.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Spotify, or via RSS so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you liked this show, you might want to check out our guide to bankruptcy in Georgia, helping people get out of debt. Available at kellycanhelp.com/welcome. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode.